welcome home.
Grandma, I think your chicken hates me.
There are some lessons life cannot teach you in a classroom. Sometimes you have to leave the comfort of everything you know, get uncomfortable, get embarrassed, and maybe even get chased by a chicken before you finally understand who you really are. And for 18-year-old Dara, that lesson was about to begin in the most unexpected place, her grandmother's village. Dara had spent most of her life in Abuja, surrounded by comfort, fast internet, modern clothes, food deliveries, and everything a city girl could possibly want. So, when her mother suddenly announced that she would be spending a holiday with Grandma Ireti in Ondo, Dara was not impressed, not even a little. She stared through the car window as Abuja's tall buildings slowly disappeared behind them. Wait, we're actually going there? Her mother, Bisi, simply smiled. Yes, Dara, you're going. Dara sighed. This holiday is officially ruined. Little did she know that journey was about to change her life. The moment Dara arrived at Grandma Ireti's compound, she knew she was in trouble. There was no smooth pavement, no fancy house, no Wi-Fi, and before she could even properly complain, a chicken suddenly charged toward her. Ah, somebody help me! Dara jumped backward, slipped in the mud, and landed right on the ground. Her expensive white sneakers were covered in dirt. Grandma Ireti simply stared at her. Then she said calmly, Welcome home. Dara looked at the chicken, then at Grandma, then at her muddy shoes. Grandma, I think your chicken hates me. For the first time, Grandma Ireti almost smiled. That night, Dara lay on a simple wooden bed, staring at her phone. No network. She lifted the phone toward the window. Nothing. She moved closer. Still nothing. She whispered, This place cannot be serious. Meanwhile, outside, Grandma Ireti was already preparing for the next morning, and Dara had absolutely no idea what was waiting for her at exactly 4:47 in the morning. Dara opened one eye. Get up. She pulled the blanket over her head. Grandma, it's still night. Grandma Ireti opened the curtains. No, it is morning. Dara looked at the clock. 4:47? Yes. For what? The farm. Dara sat up slowly. What? The farm. Dara closed her eyes again. Oh, Lord. By sunrise, Dara was already walking behind her grandmother toward the farm. She looked exhausted. Grandma Ireti looked completely normal. Dara carried a basket as if it weighed 50 kilograms. Grandma looked back. You are carrying an empty basket. I know. Then why are you tired? Dara stared at her. Grandma, I'm tired emotionally. Grandma simply continued walking. The farm was beautiful. Green cocoa trees stretched across the land, surrounded by cassava plants, palm trees, and thick vegetation. But Dara wasn't interested in the beauty. She was interested in surviving. Then something crawled onto her arm. Dara looked down. Grandma? Yes? What is that? An insect. Dara froze. Remove it. Grandma glanced at her. You have two hands. Dara stared at the insect, then at Grandma. Exactly, and neither one is touching that thing. Grandma shook her head. City children. Then came the cassava. Grandma demonstrated how to pull it from the soil. Dara watched carefully. That's easy. Grandma stepped aside. Try. Dara grabbed the plant. She pulled. Nothing. She pulled harder. Still nothing. Grandma. Yes? I think this cassava is attached to the ground. Grandma looked at her. That is why you pull it. Dara pulled again, and suddenly she fell backward into the dirt. Kunle, who had been walking nearby, saw everything. He covered his mouth. Dara pointed at him. Don't laugh. Kunle tried to stay serious. I wasn't laughing. You were. Okay. He chuckled. Dara rolled her eyes. Very funny. That was how Dara met Kunle. He was 19, hardworking, calm, and completely comfortable with village life. Unlike Dara, Kunle showed her how to work the farm without fighting with every plant she touched. Dara watched him carefully. So you've done this your whole life? Kunle nodded. Pretty much. She looked around. Don't you ever want to leave? Kunle smiled slightly. Maybe. Then why haven't you? He looked toward the farm. Because leaving doesn't always mean you're moving forward. Dara didn't know what to say. That answer stayed in her mind. Later, Kunle found an old bicycle. You can ride this. Dara looked at it suspiciously. This thing? Yes. I have never ridden one. I'll hold you. Dara climbed on. Don't let go. I won't. You promise? I promise. Dara started moving. For 3 seconds, everything was perfect. Then, Kunle, the bicycle swerved. Dara, brake. I don't know how. She fell into the dirt. Kunle rushed toward her. Dara sat there silently. Kunle tried to control himself. He failed. A soft chuckle escaped. Dara stared at him. Unbelievable. But slowly, something strange happened. Dara began enjoying herself. She still complained. A lot. But she started asking questions. She started learning. And one evening, she finally got network on her phone. Yes! She jumped up. Kunle laughed. You're happy because of network? You don't understand. Dara quickly checked her messages. Then she paused. Wait. A smile disappeared. Something had changed. That night, Dara noticed something unusual. Grandma Ireti quietly left the house, carrying an old wooden box. Dara watched through the window. Where is she going? Curiosity got the better of her. She followed, through the darkness, past the house, into the cocoa farm, until Grandma stopped beneath a large tree. Dara hid behind another tree and watched. Grandma opened the wooden box. Inside was an old photograph. Dara leaned forward, and then she saw the face. Her father, Tunde. Dara's heart began pounding. Dad? Grandma suddenly turned. Dara! Dara froze. She slowly stepped out. Grandma, what is that? Grandma closed the box. Go back to the house. No. Dara, no, Grandma. She stepped closer. Why do you have Dad's photograph hidden here? Grandma remained silent, and that silence told Dara something was very wrong. That night, Dara called her mother. Mom, there's something you need to tell me. Busy's voice became quiet. What happened? Grandma has Dad's photograph. There was a long silence. Then Busy said, Dara, don't ask too many questions. Dara frowned. Why? Just trust me. But Dara couldn't. Not anymore. The next morning, a black SUV arrived at the compound. A man stepped out. His name was Mr. Femi. He was a lawyer. Dara watched as he spoke privately with Grandma. Something about the conversation felt wrong. Why would a lawyer travel all the way to the village? And why did Grandma look so worried? Dara decided she needed answers. Later, Dara confronted Grandma. Who is Mr. Femi? Grandma looked at her. A lawyer. I know that. Then why ask? Because nobody explains anything to me. Grandma sighed. You are not ready. Dara shook her head. That's what everyone keeps saying. She paused. But I'm not a child anymore. Grandma looked into her eyes. For the first time, she seemed to realize that Dara was right. That afternoon, Dara discovered something hidden near an old wooden shed, a small metal key. She picked it up. What's this? She looked around. Then she remembered the wooden box. Her curiosity returned. Dara followed the key to the old shed, and when she inserted it into the lock, click. The door opened. Inside was an old chest. There were farming tools, dusty boxes and documents everywhere. Dara opened one folder, then another. Her eyes widened. There were receipts, school payments, medical expenses, property documents, and something else, records showing that Grandma Ireti had been secretly supporting the family for years. Dara stared at the documents. But Mom said she stopped. Something didn't make sense. Then Dara found an even bigger file. It contained documents connected to the family cocoa farm. She kept reading, and suddenly she realized the farm wasn't just some old piece of land. It was valuable, very valuable. Someone wanted it. Dara was still searching when she heard voices. She quickly hid behind some sacks. Adiwal walked into the shed. Dara recognized him. He had visited the family before, but this time he wasn't alone. He and another man began discussing the land. Dara listened carefully. They were planning to acquire the farm, and they believed Grandma Ireti would eventually surrender it. Dara covered her mouth. So that's what this is about. Adewale placed documents on the table. He spoke confidently. The land would be sold, the family would be paid, and everything would be finished. But Dara knew something they didn't know. She had found the records, she had seen the truth, and she wasn't about to remain silent. Dara ran through the farm. Grandma, Mama Ireti turned. What happened? Dara handed her the documents. Adewale is trying to take the farm. Grandma looked at the papers. Her expression changed. For years, she had carried this secret alone. Now Dara had discovered it. That evening, Grandma finally told Dara everything. The farm had belonged to their family for generations. Tunde had fought to protect it, but after a terrible disagreement, he left. The family believed he was gone forever. Dara's voice trembled. You mean Dad is alive? Grandma looked away. Dara's heart stopped. Before she could ask another question, Adiwal arrived. He walked into the compound carrying the property documents. I believe it's time we settle this. Dara stepped forward. No. Adiwal looked at her. You don't understand these matters. Dara held up the documents. Maybe I understand more than you think. Adiwal offered them money for the farm, a large amount. Dara looked at Grandma, then at the documents, then back at Adiwal. No, Adiwal's expression hardened. You're making a mistake. Dara shook her head. No, I'm finally making my own decision. Grandma stood beside her. For the first time, Dara wasn't trying to escape the village. She was standing up for it. Then Busy arrived. She stepped out of the car and immediately hugged Dara. I'm so sorry. Dara pulled away. For what? Busy looked toward Grandma, then took a deep breath. There is something you deserve to know. Dara waited. Your father is alive. Silence. Dara could barely breathe. Where is he? Busy's eyes filled with tears. He's been trying to come home. Grandma opened the old wooden box again. Inside was Tunde's old wristwatch. She placed it in Dara's hand. He wanted you to have this. Dara stared at the watch. For years, she had believed her father was simply a painful chapter in the family's past. Now she realized there had been an entire story hidden from her. That evening, Dara finally spoke to Tunde on the phone. Dad? There was silence on the other end. Then a familiar voice answered. Dara, she closed her eyes. For a moment, she was that little girl again. Why didn't you come home? Tunde struggled to answer. I was trying. Dara wiped her eyes. Then try harder. There was a soft silence. I will. A few days later, it was time for Dara to return to Abuja. Her suitcase was packed, but something inside her had changed. The girl who arrived complaining about mud and chickens was no longer the same girl. Mama Ireti stood beside her. Remember what you learned? Dara smiled softly. I will, Grandma. Before leaving, Dara found Kunle beside the village road. So? You're leaving? Yes. Kunle nodded. Will you come back? Dara smiled. I don't know. Kunle chuckled. You'll come back. Dara laughed softly. Why are you so sure? Because you still owe that cassava an apology. Dara burst into laughter. Forget you. Before getting into the car, Dara hugged Grandma tightly. For the first time, she understood something. Grandma hadn't brought her to the village to punish her. She had brought her there because Dara was becoming disconnected from the people and sacrifices that built her family. The village wasn't a punishment, it was a reminder. Back in Abuja, Dara's room looked exactly as it had before. The clothes, the phone, the comfortable bed, everything was still there. But Dara wasn't. She sat quietly, looking at her father's old wristwatch. Then she smiled. A few days later, Dara placed her phone on a tripod. She started recording. Hey guys! She paused, then laughed softly. I went to the village thinking my holiday was being ruined. She looked into the camera. But honestly, she smiled. It was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. Dara had gone to the village expecting boredom. Instead, she discovered family secrets. She expected hard work. Instead, she discovered strength. She expected Grandma to punish her. Instead, she discovered love disguised as discipline. And most importantly, she discovered that sometimes the place you're desperate to escape from is the very place that helps you find yourself. Years later, Dara would remember that first morning. The farm, the mud, the broken bicycle, the chicken, and Grandma's simple words, welcome home, because that was the moment a real journey began.